Hello, hello. Welcome to Breezyville. I know it's been a minute since I done just a channel episode, so thought today would be fun and that we would talk about some things that make sense as a Demopolis high school student. And let's go Demopolis high school student because there are some things that on my list that happen to correlate with middle school and elementary school. Um, if you're new here, hit that like button, ring that bell for notifications. Also, please subscribe. Again, comments have been turned off because due to people not knowing how to behave on the internet, um, you've lost your commenting privileges. If you want to learn how to be nice about it, we'll talk about turning comments back on. But until we can learn how to behave and you don't talk about my accent, you don't talk about anything else like that, comments stay off. However, with that also being said, um, if you don't like what I'm doing, you don't have to listen to me at the end of the day. It does not bother me whatsoever. Um, but with all jokes aside, if you're new here, hit that like button, ring that bell for notifications. Also, please subscribe. Um, I went to Demopolis High School, and I went to Demopolis. I'm from this very little small town called Demopolis, Alabama. And this is basically more off in rural Alabama, the further off the interstate you can get. So I want to start off this episode by answering what defines a rural town. Okay, and y'all know me. I take pride in being a small town girl, and I love being a small town. But here are some characteristics of a rural small town: population, Um, small population size and low population density, services, fewer options in shopping and medical services, cost of living, the land, lots of natural resources, and population age. Now, here's the thing: Demopolis is known for its hunting grounds. So anybody who says, "Oh, I know what Demopolis is," they're referring to the hunting ground primarily. Except for a few people who actually know that people live here, and I will admit, Demopolis is just a passing through town. And I lived in Demopolis for my whole life, so yeah. On and off for some of my childhood, and then from fifth grade on up permanently. So I went to Demopolis High School, and all jokes aside, I love Demopolis High School. I get my this m- in Demopolis. Like I've met my friend in the fifth grade in Demopolis. She's my sister. She's my OG. She's my ride or die. So she knows me, and everything. And she knows how much I love her for this one. So let's keep that in mind. But let's start with some things that just made sense in Demopolis High School. Make it a great day or not. The choice is yours. Um, if you know, you know. They would do these words of wisdoms. I don't know if they still do it now. I left Demopolis years ago, so almost 10 years actually. Um, but make it a great day or not. The choice is yours was always how they would end the words of wisdom. So by that, we all knew what they were saying. We didn't listen to the words of wisdom, but we all knew they were going to complete that, so we all just say that. So, um, another thing is walking to the softball field was completely safe. So this goes back to middle school. Um, so where Demopolis Middle School is located, it's next to Gaineswood, and then there's like a softball field, like where you could just easily not like a half mile maybe you could walk to. For some reason, the school thought it was safe. None of the parents complained about it, so we all walked. It's not like we were walking with our class and our PE coach, so nobody was going to get kidnapped or anything or run off, right? There were some people who could have easily walked home. Just saying on that one. Walking to the middle school from the elementary school was completely safe. This was like our fifth grade trip to go toward a middle school because we were all going to the middle school and we had to see it. Why not line up the bus? Seriously. It would have been so much safer than having us walk those few blocks to the middle school. Um, if you graduated, you just came back and visited the teachers without a pass. I've seen so many students do this. I'm like, Okay, that sounds fun. I might do this. Y'all, it's been 10 years since I graduated high school. And I left Demopolis like 3 months after I graduated. I only go back to see my babies and my best friend. That's about it. I know, sad, honestly. Um, the next one is there was a story before punishment. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Say you got sent to the principal's office. I can't remember his name. Barlow, something like that. Anyway, he would always start off with well, something, something, something. When I was a boy, yada yada yada. Then he would go on to either give you a warning, or he would go on to say, you have penalty hall or Saturday school. Do they even still do penalty hall or Saturday school? I'm very curious. Um, Another one. Walking to Walmart or Jack's was always an quote option after school or before a football game. You know how many times I got in trouble because I walked over to Walmart with my friends after school? Yeah, it was ridiculous. But literally, so there's this field behind the high school. I don't know if you can still do it now, but you could literally walk over to Walmart and everything. Without ever so tells you how much of a small town it really is. Um, this next one, parking at Walmart and walking over to the stadium was smart and efficient. Saved. Oh, I've seen a lot of people that they would park at Walmart or wherever, at GameStop or whatever, and they would just walk that field and go to the football games without having to pay a parking fee. I'm down for it actually. Um, Look, I'm cheap. I'll be the first one to be honest with you. This next one is you can walk to Walmart, Jack's, GameStop, the doctor's office, the pharmacy from the high school without touching Highway 80. If you know anything about Demopolis, Alabama, you know all roads connect to Highway 80. And that was a very dangerous road too, especially in front of the high school. You can even go to Smoking Jacks if you wanted to. My point being, um, first of all, Smoking Jacks is a barbecue restaurant. I do highly recommend it. I don't know if it's still there anymore. But if it's still there, I highly recommend it. Um, but yeah, you can literally go across this field. Um, this next one on here that just makes so much sense is nearly everybody went to UWA, the University of West Alabama in Livingston, Alabama, which was like 30 minutes, honestly, from Demopolis. Um, Nearly everybody, trust me. You could probably name somebody you went to, like, there was TAs who were so shocked with how many people we knew, and we had to explain to them, everybody goes to UWA. Everybody. Um, this next one is my favorite. I'm not naming the teacher on this one, but she will go every day, baby. If any of my classmates are watching this, y'all know who I'm talking about. Um, form. So here's the next one. You just left your book bag outside the lunchroom. Whenever during lunch or breakfast. Yeah, that was totally made so much sense because this not like nobody was gonna come through and steal anything, right? Yeah. Um, Oh, this one was primarily for middle school. But you had to go through the line even if you didn't get lunch. Like, that, tell me what sense that made. I'll be honest with y'all, by the time I got to, like, high school, I never really ate the school lunch. I quit eating it maybe halfway through my freshman year, and everything. But they advised us to fill the free lunch things out and everything. Mm, okay. Friday nights, I was in ROTC, so this is something that makes sense. You were either in JROTC, band, cheerleader, or football come Friday nights. And we marched, so with ROTC, we marched to every home game. We did the homecoming parade, the Christmas on the River parade, and we did a few other services, which I love doing. I did color guard and honor guard. Um, but here's something else that just made sense if you went to Demopolis High School. Where you said that pepper rallies mattered. So, Here's the thing. I started off like in the first area, but eventually I made my way to the top. And this is the difference. The first is for those who really show school spirit. The middle schools was those who did it because they had to and they knew teachers were watching. And the top was for those who did not care at all. I was one of those. By the time I was a senior, I just quit caring. Like I had senioritis long before um t- senior year. Um, Another thing that makes sense, it was normal to let your child run around the football stadium to be with friends. Because you know how some parents today are so protective, which I get it, we live in that world today, but this was normal. Like, you could let your child run around. Um, Homecoming was a big deal for us. Dress up days to parade to football games. Um, our biggest rival was Jackson High School. I don't know, is it still Jackson High School? I'm very curious, actually. Um, there are some questionable teachers to say the least. I have one I'm trying not to reveal her name to, but only the real ones know. She had an imaginary pet cat. She dated Michael Jackson. We had one that was so crazy that she, like I said, rephrased earlier, every day, baby. It's like, I wonder how she's doing actually. I'm like, part of me really wants to look her up now and be like, hey, see you, just spy on her for a moment. Um, Seventh period PE was always for the athletes. Do they still do that now? It's been 10 years since I've been in high school, so please let me know. Um, Staying behind to clean up the stadium was an excuse to hang out with your friends, but you told your parents you were doing it for volunteer hours. We all know. Yeah, y'all know. I think your parents knew too, so we weren't as clever as we thought we were. Or you were probably doing it to get closer to that crush you liked. Yeah. Your parents knew. They weren't stupid. Um, this one also makes sense. Your history teachers were coaches as well. I think this is just because you grew up in a small town thing too. Okay, this one makes sense too. Coming to a football game in the fourth quarter because it was free. Yeah, we all know. Um, let's see. Oh, and the very last one, there were students from Thomaston, Selma, Livingston, Portland, and Utah who also went to Demopolis but weren't from Demopolis. It was the better school system out of all the choices. Trust me on that one. And everything. And these are actual names of towns, so I'm not just throwing names in the air and letting y'all figure out which one. But I will see y'all next time. Y'all have a great day. And we're gonna be talking about things that make sense if you were from Sweetwater, Alabama, and from Forkland, Alabama. So, you know, you know.